The topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Well, good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. Howdy. Okay, I'm going to behave. I promise you I will. I'm going to behave. It may be, okay, I'm just going to keep muting myself. That's what I'm going to do. Well, good evening to our fabulous audience and my fabulous co-host and our fabulous technician, producer, person behind the scenes. We are so thankful for you all joining us this evening. I have to say, hey, give a shout out to my fabulous co-host, Trey from all the way from VA. What's happening? Hey,
everybody. How are you?
Hey, all is well. Is it cold up there?
Yep.
We somebody blew this way in Central Florida. Lord Jesus, everybody tried to bring out their little fur boots and everything. I'm like, where you going? Well, you know you're gonna be hot. Hope you got a second pair of shoes in the car. Anyway, and of course, my right hand, my left hand, my all around the world. She's right around the corner from me. I hope is Miss Tommy. Miss Tommy, how you doing? How you doing over there? Okay, you're muted. Thank you. We can read lips, but not tonight.
I'm good. Thank you very much. Much.
Well, I am so happy to hear that. We have an exciting show for you guys tonight. I'm excited, and it's gonna be revolutionary as always. So again, sit back. Thank you. Listen in. Repost, post, share with your friends. And even after tonight, you can always go back and look. People are going back and looking at the show. We're getting at least 2 to 5 new viewers every week now. Every week. So give God praise on that. Somebody wants to put up with us and think that we may have some important information to share. Well, I'm going to turn the reins over to Miss Tommy because she will have, I just want to give her a chance to do what she do. Y'all don't think she can do it, but she can. Watch and hold on. Tommy, what you got for us tonight?
Tonight, our little special guest, and I say little because she's my little one, but I would like to introduce my daughter, Talita Rollins. She's coming from Chesapeake, Virginia, in the way of Norfolk, Virginia, and all that round the way, Hampton Roads area. But she is one of their guiding counselors that is over at one of the elementary schools in Norfolk. She's been counseling now for the last 2 years. She got a certificate and she's doing well at it. Yes. So without further ado, I would like to introduce Miss Rollins.
Where she is. There she is. Yay! Okay.
There
we go. We try. We're doing better. How are you, Miss T? Do you mind me if I call you Miss T?
That's fine.
Okay? That's fine. Well, thank you. And thank you for joining us tonight. The Lord is so awesome. We get together, at least once before the next month to talk about what we should talk about, for the next month, for the following month and everything. And as we were just talking about, this is Women's History Month and celebrating women and the women whose shoulders we stand on. And the fact that we as women, all of us, wear so many hats. We're always doing so many things and we're parenting so many people. The Lord brought you up in my spirit. Even though I didn't have your name down, but I said, ooh. And I said, Tommy, ask your daughter if she would like to join us, because we could talk about, what's going on in our neighborhoods that's affecting the students in schools. And, I want you to open that up. I've seen, and through my daughter, she's 20 and she's a twin. Her friend girls don't have the support of their moms. I have never seen this up close like this. I'm a social worker by career, but in mental health or substance abuse, normally people are court ordered or referred, but to be able to hear some of the issues these young girls are going through, they're very bright. They have goals, but their self-esteem is shot. It's shot. So give me an idea, when your mom, approached you, what were you thinking? And then, just go ahead and fill in. I'm going to mute myself because I'm a social worker. I can out-talk anybody.
Well, thank you for having me this evening, ladies. It is definitely a pleasure. I do have to correct my mom on some things that commonly a lot of people make the mistake of. We are not guidance counselors anymore. We are professional school counselors.
What?
Yes, it has changed. The credentials are different. So we fight hard for what we do. So we are no longer considered guidance counselor. If you are meeting anyone in the school counseling field present day, they should definitely correct you because we fought hard for that title. Like I said, the requirements are different. You have to have a mental health training now. So no one is just grandfathered in. You don't get to be the PE coach for 10 years and now the position's open and now you're making schedules all day. That is not the case. Those were guidance counselors. Professional school counselors have a different background. That was one. I love my mother dearly, but I can tell she's getting a little older. I have been in the counseling field, in the school counseling field now almost 4 years. Come August, it'll be 4 years. And my school, we are a K-8 school. We traditionally started out as a middle school, then we integrated 3-8, and now we are K-8. So it is a drastic difference going in the hallways now. We have the little people now. So we respect those little people. But other than that, there are definitely challenges that are being more brought to the forefront now because children are starting to act out a lot more. They are a little more expressive, not verbally, but in their behaviors. So you're starting to see a lot of situations escalate in the schools as far as the suicide rates, the depression rates, the fighting. You start to notice the home environment as well with the actions of the children that you see. We deal with a lot of homelessness. There's a lot of transition as far as families breaking up and moving. So children are starting to actually wear their situations on them that we see in schools. And that is like bringing attention to the schools because it's always been there, but there's never really been that advocacy for kids. Because you always feel like, oh, kids don't know what's going on. They're too young to understand. They don't know. And we just send them to school thinking they'll be fine. They'll play, they'll eat, and come back, do homework, and they're not affected, when in all actuality, they are extremely affected. And they're learning to find their little voices how they can. So I'm definitely dealing with quite a bit on a daily basis. I enjoy it, but it is challenging for the most part.
I can only imagine. I remember being in a meeting here in Orlando and at the school board, and the parents were like, well, you talking to the teachers, you should. And I finally had to get up and say, these people have an educational background. They don't have a psychology background. They don't take psych classes. Back in the day, I don't know now, things have changed. But back in the day, teachers didn't take psych courses. They didn't take sociology courses. They don't have to have any type of certification in mental health issues. They are here to teach. It's what you're not doing at home that the child is bringing that to the classroom. And the teacher's like, I can't teach you. I can't teach you.
It's tough.
Remember, yes. Yeah. How is that? I mean, and our teachers here in Orlando, we don't, I think we started the school year negative over 100 and some teachers. Tommy, I think there was a call for, and bus drivers too, but we started out in a negative. I think we're still in the negative. They've had to combine classes.
And that's probably the situation across the US. I mean, some districts probably have amazing numbers, and for the most part a lot don't. One, because of the pay. Teachers are definitely underpaid and overworked. We went through a situation last year where our bus drivers striked. They refused to pick up any children, and that was a wake-up call for the district to see that if they didn't go pick them up, who are we going to educate? So we do need them. So, whatever their demands were, I didn't get involved. That was above my pay grade. I minded my business. So I don't know what details were being negotiated on, but for whatever reason, they came to an understanding, and we have some bus drivers. We're still not completely 100%, but at least the bus drivers for our school have a good rapport with us. So they work with us and they make sure they get the job done. When it comes to teachers, a lot of times some people are not passionate about their job and it's just a job. So you have a percentage of individuals collecting a paycheck, and then you have a series of individuals that are passionate and want to teach and are innovative and ready to challenge the world. And then you have some on their way out the door. They could care less. They're just counting down the days to retirement. So all of those factors play in how the children react and respond at school. Parents do expect us to teach their children educational information as well as life lessons. And in their minds, you're with them more time than I am throughout the day, which is true in a sense, because by the time they get home and do homework and bathe and eat, you put them to bed. So you're not really interacting with them till the weekend. So yes, the teachers and the educators spend time with the children that is significant, but we don't have the same role. There's only so much we can do. And there's only so far we can go, because the minute you actually take that child in like yours and discipline, then the parents have a problem. So it's almost as if, what is it that you would like for us to do? We're educating them, yes. But when it comes to the upbringing, that's what we have to call it, because that's not our role. So it's definitely been difficult trying to engage parents into a parental role and a supportive role, as opposed to being a step parent, just dropping the child off in the morning and picking them up in the afternoon. So it's a challenge.
Now, I had hoped that once I got over the devastation of 2020, and I was in recovery at that time, so being home was not unusual for me. And I had home care and stuff like that. So I wasn't going out. So it wasn't so, but I thought 2020 taught us a couple of lessons. First of all, when the schools they pivoted to online, and if mom if she ain't working, daddy working, and they doing whatever they doing behind the scenes, not thinking that everybody else could see them and stuff. Number one, I thought that would have taught them a lesson. Number two, now you can see why Johnny keeps getting referrals, because now Johnny's there with you. And this is 24 hours a day now, 7 days a week. It seemed like once the gates were open and everybody started returning back to school, they forgot some things. And little Johnny still got the same issue.
Yeah. All they wanted was him out the house. That was all they cared about. The minute the doors opened, he was front and center, without taking accountability on the behaviors and the things that he's been exposed to and how that affects his learning environment. And a lot of times when parents have issues, or their children have issues with their peers, they forget about, you're not raising that other child. You're only raising your child. So the upbringing is different. The exposure is different. The relationships are different. So just because you teach your child not to say shut up doesn't mean that that's a common word used in this child's household of how they get quiet in the house. So it's a constant battle and a reality check for most parents to understand you're only raising your child. However, we're accountable for all the children. So we have to be mindful of all the personalities, all of the environments, all of their behaviors, all of their needs. And it's almost impossible to cater to one child particularly and let that be the top priority. No one child is more special than the other. So there has to be a level of compromise, a level of reality, and a level of just support from the family. I can't beat your child to listen like you can at home. Not necessarily beat, that sounds abusive, but I can't discipline your child the way you see fit to make them mine at home. In school, I would lose my job. That'll be a lawsuit. It'll be over the news. It's the whole thing. The most I can do is maybe raise my voice to a certain tone to try to establish some boundary and some respect. But if he's accustomed to hearing yelling or being hit with something or some level of discipline that we're not giving in school, me using that tone may not work with him. So it may take some time for him to understand that it's okay for me to listen to Miss Rollins with her not yelling. You know, just because she's not yelling doesn't mean she doesn't care, as opposed to him equating when my mom yells, I feel like she cares about me, or that's something that she says to me. So it's a constant challenge to reprogram these children day after day, because by the time you get them on functioning and on hand, they go home and it's like hitting the restart button every time they come back in the door, because now you're battling what I'm taught at home as opposed to what I'm taught at school, until they are mature enough to understand that concept, that you can act a certain way in one environment, but you have to behave a certain way in another environment. So it is definitely a challenge, and the pandemic did not help at all. It
Well,
did
that's the
not help.
true definition of
Yeah.
ADD and ADHD. It's got to occur in two different places, not just because you can't, tolerate your child. It's got to happen at Sunday school and at the school. That's the true definition of ADD and ADHD. Go ahead, Trey. I'm sorry.
Well, basically, what I was just going to piggyback on it too is too, when you in the classroom, is very difficult, because then they're affected or impacted by other kids' behaviors as well.
Absolutely.
So you can never say what your can't never say what your child won't do. They're always going to test the water, but then you have some kids that's just going to take it overboard. And then some of the things too, it starts early. You don't wait till your child is 4 to correct a behavior. You start that early on, so they can learn right from wrong. When there's no whatever they got to do, start it off early. And then they'll learn, okay, when this happen, when I do this means I need to stop that particular behavior. But you don't wait till you think it's cute, and then they take it to the school district, and then you have another issue, because that particular behavior could cause them to be suspended or expelled. When you're hitting back, hitting folks back and stuff like that. I've seen parents encourage, hit her back, say this. And I said, why are they teaching these kids that? It's not cute. And then you're going to wonder why the child has an issue when they go to the school, and this is not a policy. Because you've taught them, okay, this is cute to say here, but when you go there, it's not cute or appropriate.
Correct. That is a big adjustment that we deal with on a regular basis. And being that we actually have kindergartners, this is these children's first time being in an environment, a learning environment, a structured learning environment, to where they're not playing all day, they're not taking naps, they're not getting snacks, and they're expected to be respectful little scholars and listen and follow rules. And a lot of times you can tell when they're used to getting naps, because when they get sleepy, they get cranky, they don't want to listen, they're still crying, they start to, fight each other, because they're babies, so to speak. This is their first time. In the pandemic, they probably didn't have any of that. No one went to daycare, no one went to Head Start. So it's like, you have to reprogram them at such a young age. But I tell you what they do know. They know off right, you're not my mama, you're not my daddy, or I'm gonna tell on you. You can't tell me no. And it's like, yeah, I actually can. Like, no, you're not going, or no, you're not getting this. So I do spend quite some time with my younger babies, just trying to condition them into understanding this is not daycare. This is big girl, big boy school. And these are some of the things that you have to do. And this is what we're expecting. And these are your rules. And these are the things you have to do when you come in. And it's okay that you have a bad day, but you have to make better decisions. So it is an adjustment in the building to have such little people. And some of them are so tiny. They're absolutely adorable, but they are some of the most challenging little people, because they are determined to get their way. They're probably the babies of the family. They're super spoiled. No one tells them no. And they're not accustomed to that type of structure. It's a big adjustment for them. So quite naturally, it's going to be a rebellion behavior initially, until they understand, okay, I guess I can do this. It's not that bad. And children learn with repetition. As long as you keep doing it repetitively, they're going to get it. Whether they want to or not, it's just going to come like second nature to them. And we see it when we change the direction for breakfast in the morning. We have arrows everywhere. When you come in, you go down one hallway. To get to the cafeteria, you walk around. To come back up, you go up these stairs. So it's funny to see them. I call them little cattle at that point. Because when we come in and it's like, okay, no, you can't go down this hallway, go this way. And they're looking like, we can't go that way. We're supposed to go this way. We know, but listen, we need you to go this way. And it's like to watch them go in the direction that they're accustomed to, regardless of how much they fight it every day. Some of them, I don't want to go this way, but you know that's the way to go. So when something changes, it's like they're bumping pins. Like, wait, we can't go. Where are we supposed to go? We need you to come this way. But no, you go this way. And then my little people, but that's not the right way. You're supposed to go this way because the arrow says this way. I'm glad that you're listening. Thank you. But today is special. I need you to go this way. But that's not, so they will argue you down like, that's not right. That's not what you've been telling me all this time. So it makes me feel good that they are grasping the concepts, whether they like it or not. And they're able to identify, wait a minute, that's not right. This is what we're supposed to be doing. Until you have to convince them. It's almost like a negotiation. Look, I understand this is your usual path, but there's something happening down there. I need you to go this way. But am I going to be able to go for lunch? What about for recess? Can I go to resource? We going to figure that part out. But for right now, go this direction. It's like, it's okay. You have permission. You can go. So it's like, it's always a smile when they do argue change, because then you know, no matter how much they argue, no matter how many times we tell them, they're getting it, they're retaining it. They may not like it, they may not understand it, but they're accepting it. So that's like, they're listening.
Well, and actually, Rachel got some glasses so she could see the arrows now. You know, before she was just let the blind lead the blind, but Rachel got her glasses now. She said, "Oh, we're supposed to go that way."
Oh, the little ones will let you know, and they'll tell, "Hey, they're going the wrong way. That's not the right way." I appreciate you for being the police. Thank you.
I appreciate you talking about how, you know, after you try to train them, it's on a daily. As a therapist, I was faced with that when I would see clients, the kids once a week. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I can't go home with them. I can't, you know, that's why I would bring in anybody living in the house. I don't want just your mom and the man that you call Uncle Freddie. I need everybody that lives in that house to come in the session next week, because I need everybody to get on one accord here. And that was the most frustrating part about therapy, working in medical services and in the health industry, because the healthcare people don't quite understand the mental health perspective of things. And I was just participated in my college's entertaining a healthcare certification, and they're hoping that MSWs and DSWs would, you know, participate. So they were asking me, they had 5 set questions. And I said, now, Dr. T, you know I'm a social worker, right? And I can out-talk all of y'all. So I give you permission, you know, to put a little, you know, barrier up on me and call time. But one of the interesting things that shocked both of the folks that were listening was me talking about the difference between mental health and medical health environment. Mm-hmm. It's completely different. Mental health, I've got a client on inpatient, on the unit, and I've got time to work with them, time to find resources, time to help them, you know, very safely discharge them. Health in the hospital, I'm a discharge planner. The moment I see you, I got to be thinking how I'm gonna get you out of here and safely. So that really, you know, was a big thing. But one thing that really bothers me, and I don't know why people can't get this connection, is if you don't deal with your issues as a child, then you grow up and you become a parent. Mm-hmm. You still got those skeletons in the closet that will come out when you least expect it. And 9 times out of 10, you know, they got 23 of your chromosomes, they got 23 of daddy chromosomes. So somewhere along the way, if you don't deal with stuff within yourself, that transfers very quietly and subtly into the little one. And then you look at the little one and you're mad at the little one because you're really seeing yourself. Mm-hmm. So I don't understand why parents can't get that in their head. If I don't resolve this, this shadow, this fear, this anxiety, this anger, this unforgetfulness, unforgiveness. I'm going to pass it on.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm turning to, substances to ease the pain, that child sees that. My child sees. I go to that little mini thing over there and I get this funny smelling and funny colored stuff and I'll drink it and then I'll be like, whew, I feel better. Then you want to almost take their head off when all of a sudden the liquor is decreasing.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well,
but you just showed them that. Go ahead. Go ahead.
A lot of parents, it's easy to neglect your own because I know I've been guilty of it. When I see stuff in my daughter, I'd be quick to say, oh, you get that from your daddy. You get that from your daddy, people. And parents, it's crazy. We know that's not exactly true. It could be partially, but not exactly. But they really use that as a reason, or they'll say, well, I did this because your daddy made me do this, or I did this because so-and-so made me do this, without taking any accountability. Because I know I do it all the time. Anytime I see my child with an attitude, that's the first thing she get that from her daddy. Oh, she acting like her daddy people today. She ain't acting like, I don't know where she get that from, because we don't act like that over here. That clearly that's her father and her. I don't see that in me. When in all actuality, I have just as bad of an attitude or switch as she does. And I know she get it from me.
Tommy, you're hearing this? This is an apology. This is an informal apology. Thank you, Jesus.
No, he's telling the truth. Her and her baby are two of the same. They born 3 days apart. My grandbaby was born on May 29th, and this one is June 1st. They two of a kind. And when they look in the mirror, they see each other. So of course they do act alike. And I just laugh. I'm like, y'all are two of a kind. I can't believe it.
So aggravating.
Like, what did I do wrong?
So aggravating.
But it's a family-friendly show. It's a family-friendly thing.
But
it's funny and it's hilarious.
It's a harsh reality.
It's a harsh reality.
See myself in my child, but I also see, just from her actions and how she carries herself, the positives that she get from me. That, I'm sorry, sir, I did that. You were not here to take part in that credit. That was my doing, So it's like, as much as I would like to give you some of those qualities, unless it's just in the DNA and I can't prove that, I did that. Like, these are my examples. So she is definitely my good and my bad. And dealing with parents, they only want to see the good. They don't want to hear the bad, because then it makes them have to look at themselves, and they're not ready to deal with that. So anytime I have a challenging student, I call in everybody. I'll call you auntie. Whoever name is listed on your paperwork, I'm calling. If I can't get in touch with mom or dad, that's okay, because grandma gonna answer. Is grandma home today? Well, I'm gonna talk to grandma. And let's see what grandma say. And let's see how we gonna do this with her. Because I'm sure she gonna feel some type of way about me talking to her, that she's gonna either call mom or dad, which is her child. And they're gonna have a discussion to the point that someone's gonna call and come looking for me. Well, who is that lady that called my mom telling her that I didn't A, B, C, D, E, F, G? Oh, that was me. I'm glad to see you. You ready? You ready to talk? Because I'm that counselor. I don't care who you are. If you have any dealings with this child, I laid that child out for the things that they did wrong. And now I'm going to lay you out, because I'm sure this isn't the first time. And I need you to do better with correcting it and reinforcing what is expected of them when they get here. And I give all my children life lessons. At the rate you're going with that mouth and that level of disrespect, you ever seen a judge show? I'm sure you have. Or I'm sure you heard auntie and uncle talking about it at the table. That's going to be you. So you got time to fix it. Fix it now. Because I call the police on you. I don't mind. I will do just that. Because I tell them all the time, I'm documented. I get paid for it every month. This is not it. And this is the harsh reality. You're going to come across people that are dealing with their own things, and you don't know how your actions is going to cause them to react. So you have to be mindful of how you address anybody. Any situation can be a life-changing situation. You may think it's nothing, they may think it's everything. And now at the end of the day, who's going to live to tell that story? So a lot of my older kids, if someone's new coming in and I say, well, hey, and I always say, hey, little girl, hey, little boy, well, hey, handsome, hey, beautiful. And they get to looking and rolling out. This shit roll her eyes at me. One of the students that's been there, like, oh, wait. No, that's Miss Rollins. Hold on. She documented. Don't do that. She documented. Somebody better tell them. I love on you and always needed to get you together. What love you want? And it's like, they always be like, well, I ain't never had nobody, you know what I'm saying, talk to me like that. I ain't got nothing to do with that. I'm talking to you now. I'm not yelling, I'm not cursing, and I'm not going to. But I will get stern. I will tell you what I will and won't accept. And you don't have options but what I gave you because you're a child. So these are your choices. Be grateful that you got this. Because my child didn't have very many choices. And she's fine. Let me show you. I can show you better than I can tell you. She's doing amazing. So it's not like, you know, I always tell them, I'm not talking to hear myself talk. I have proof. My daughter is my biggest flex, as they say. Oh, that's my biggest flex. I know I did well with her. Like, it's proven in her day-to-day. It's proven when people meet her and they can come back and tell me how good of a young lady she is, how respectful she is, how she carries herself, how she articulates herself, how she manages money, you know, how she doesn't follow suit. She stands alone. I put in work. And I always tell my students, this is the same kind of work I'm trying to put into you. The only difference is I might have been able to reach out and touch her in a different way. I can't reach out and touch you. But I'm going to try my best to get real close that you're going to even think about it and think, no, that ain't the way I want to go. You might think like she might get me today. I want you to feel that inch of fear, because children have no fear these days. I need you to have a little ounce of fear to know, like, I don't know where this might go, and I'm a little scared to find out, because you really don't. So a lot of parents, their children don't fear them. They talk back. They, you know, the disrespect is just ridiculous. And I feel like anytime that I have to intervene as an outsider, because the respect and the disrespect is just ridiculous, it's a problem. And that's when I address the parent. You are a parent. You're feeding them. You're clothing them. You're doing the best that you can. There's no rhyme or reason why they should talk to you this way. You don't deserve it. I don't care what mistakes you made. They don't know. They don't raise children. Don't allow it. Put your foot down. Use your mama voice. If you ain't got it, we're going to practice it today. Because when you get home, you need to have it down packed. Because when I'm not around, it still needs to work. The same level of respect I get when I come into the room is the same level of respect you need to have no matter where you are. Because a lot of my students, they don't respect their parents. But let me walk in and they being irate and loud. All I have to do is look. And then the parents will be like, well, how? Oh, you do this for her, but you don't do this at home. That's your fault. I've just met them months ago. And already I established what I will and won't deal with. And I've never had to put my hands on them. The only touch they get from me is a hug in the morning and compliments throughout the day, even when they're doing wrong. And I bring your little handsome self here. Well, who told you to act this way, being as gorgeous as you are? Is that how you're supposed to act? It's like, I'm never degrading. I'm always empowering. And they don't have that. So a lot of times they feel like they go unnoticed, and I have to show out to get attention, because if I'm not, no one's going to pay me any mind. I'm just going to be existing, and I don't feel loved. So they do fight. They do talk back. They do get in trouble, because they'll do whatever they have to for somebody to focus on them. So it's a struggle.
So if I know you got fear in my baby, I know that
over the phone.
But how do you address the parents so that they realize that I need to sternly deal with them in the direction you've given them, the information you've given them or the direction you have given them, so that they can establish that firmness. Because like Trey said early day, if you ain't started when they 4 years old, it's almost a wash.
It's not, though. Children are resilient. They are the most forgiving, even when they hold grudges. As long as you take the time to show a child consistency, they're never too far gone. Never too far gone. I mean, I interact with children that I've never met besides the school year. Don't know me from a can of paint, but I was consistent. It didn't matter what their day was like. It didn't matter what my day was like. Even if I was having a bad day, and I tell them quick, not this morning. This ain't the love you want this morning. Give me a second. Let me warm up, because this heat ain't for you. And they respect that. And when they're having bad moments and I see it, or, they don't speak. Ooh, did I see you this morning when you rolled over? You better speak to me. I'm not in the mood. You got a mood? How you get a mood? You old enough for that? I ain't know that. My mood ain't start till I pay bills. Look at you. You advanced. And it's like, as much as they want to be mad, just in constant conversation to show like, your mood is not going to push me away. I love you regardless of your mood. And it's okay that you have a mood. Why do you have a mood? Use your words now. I've seen your emotion. I've seen your body language. Now use your words. Why are you in this mood? What happened? What are you missing? What do you want? What do you need? Because if you don't talk to me, I can't help you, because I'm not a mind reader. And I tell them quick, if I was a mind reader, I've been to hit the lottery every week. Every chance I could, I would have won. I wouldn't even be sitting here looking at y'all. I'd be so busy trying to cash checks and get tickets. So I'm not a mind reader. What do you need? And if you're not able to verbally talk about it, you can draw it, tell me a song, write it out, journal for a couple of hours or a couple of days and bring it back to me. But I'm not going to forget. And some of them might feel like, okay, I'm just going to say this so I can get out of her office. She's not going to remember. Man, where's my journal? I'm still waiting on that tea. What's going on? What was wrong with you on Monday? Today, Thursday. You still on Monday? Yeah, because I'm nosy like that. I want to know what's wrong. So when the next time come around, I know what to do. Because I ain't know what to do. But aggravate you all day until you talk to me. How did that work for you? Because it was fun for me. How did you like it? You was annoying. Very much so. And trust me, it gets worse. Because I have that much experience, I have that much creativity, and my knowledge is far more than yours at this point. So I am far more creative with the things that I can do. So, you ready to tell me what was going on? I just was upset because I seen on Instagram. Oh, Lord, what kind of beef is on Instagram? Oh, well, this person like this. Oh, I don't want to hear about that part. That's life. You ain't old enough. You ain't married. You weren't about to get married, was you? Was it your husband? No, it wasn't your husband. Okay, guess what? You gonna see so many more men in this world. I guarantee you go to Walmart, you're gonna pick up 5 more. Then what? So it's more so like this, but I'm consistent. I don't forget. And it's like, dang, you ain't forget. I put a sticky note on my computer just so I can remember. Yep, that's how much I care. And it changes things. It's a rapport and a relationship that you build. So as a parent, your child may think you are the worst parent in the world. And you might have been up until that point. But if you take the initiative to fix these things, have conversations with your children. I'm not saying give them too much freedom, because I believe a child ain't got but so much to say so. You can only go so far with your opinion. Tell it to God. You might want to be mindful what you say to me. So give them a little leeway to express themselves, but make sure that it's within a respectable realm. And that if there are questions, it's okay to answer some of their questions. And sometimes you won't have the answer. And it's okay as a parent to say, I don't know. At the time, I thought that was the best thing to do. But now I know it's not. So if it happens again, I'll try something different. Just to let them know that you're human and you're not perfect, just like they're not. But you also have to forgive some of their mistakes as well. Check them when they do mess up, but also don't hold that against them forever. Allow them the lesson. You messed up when you did this. You turned this situation into this because you did this. Moving forward, this will not happen again. If you do, this is what's going to happen. A lot of kids look forward to something. So if I don't have nothing to look forward to, I don't have nothing to work for, I don't have nothing to fear at the end of the day if I don't do it. So it's a cause and effect. But a parent just has to establish some respectful boundaries for them and their children. And they have to also understand that it's not your children's fault that things are happening to you. You had them. You enjoyed the moment. Now enjoy the lifetime. It's just that simple. No matter what happens, they're going to get on your nerves. They're going to hurt your feelings. They're going to make you happy. You're going to go through a variety of emotions, but know that it's not their fault what happened up until that point. You're the parent. You have to take full responsibility of what they do until they're mature enough to learn the concept of right and wrong. At that point, that's when you start putting that responsibility on them.
Trey, come on now.
Yeah, I was just listening, and then it's so important when you have the cooperation of the parent, so sometimes, there have been situations, just like you were saying, that you get a better response from the child than the parents do. But it's about consistency. We're not going to kiki all day. And I do have a look. So you will learn that look when you say, okay, it's time to cut that out, without anybody having to know. It's the look between me and you. So when we're in the public, you're going to feel that, whether it's blazing on your backside or the back of your head, is she looking at me like that? Or what is she doing? You're going to look, and I'm going to be staring at you like, cut that out. Not today. And so my thing is, this should never be an instance where someone else has better control over your child than you do. Exactly. It shouldn't be. The parents, it's hard. I know parenting is very difficult because parents have a lot of stuff that's going on in their life. With making sure that their child is fed, have roof over their head. They're dealing with relationships, dealing with job, dealing with a whole lot of stuff. But it truly takes a village. So try not to be so defensive. Parents, try not to be so defensive if a teacher or counselor or someone, this is what I found is working. Because your child doesn't behave like that when they're with me. They behave like that with you. Let's talk about what's going on. And don't be so defensive when I say, okay, it's something that's triggering him or her at the house, wherever you're staying. I don't care what it is. And just try to be more mindful, because I'm pretty sure parents want the best for their kids. I don't think as a child, I want a parent saying, oh, I don't want my child to be anything. I'm pretty sure their parents say, I want my child to be the best. Well, what does the best look like to you? How can we get your child from point A to point B? What can we help you to make sure you have the resources to get your child from point A to point B? So that you won't give up and you can have a thriving family. But, like I said, but when you become defensive and stuff, because teachers don't have time to deal with that all day, and you've got 30 in a classroom with similar but different issues, and then from similar and different family, backgrounds and cultures and beliefs and systems and whatever they got going on in their household, they bring all of that in the classroom and in the school. And then people want them to be able to function. And then you got parents that, well, don't tell them that over there. Don't make sure you don't say anything, because I don't want them to think I'm a bad parent. No, it's not that. Let's get this on the table. So people say the good parent means I got these issues and I need help with my issues.
Right.
But you have a lot that won't do that.
No.
And I get it.
And I piggyback off of what you said, Trey, about the village. Now, the original concept, it takes a village, has been blown totally out of proportion. Totally out of proportion, just like everything else in the world. You take one virtuous, pure thing and you blow it up to mean, oh, no, it don't. A village meant that my neighbors were watching and making sure I got in, because they knew that mom worked until 6 o'clock. And they knew I was in there by myself. So they made sure they watched me go in the door. That, a neighbor, or if, like you said, if you can't reach the parent, that next person on the list will immediately come up to the school. What's going on? How can what's going on? People were talking to each other. But I want to take it outside of, now we talked about teachers and we talked about our professional guidance folks, and we talked about the child, but let's talk about the church. Because the whole fabric of family didn't unwind on its own. We used to have children's church. We used to have Sunday school. We used to have vacation Bible school, where some manners, some values were taught in another setting. But we don't have that anymore. Yes, sir. We don't have that anymore. We don't have the guidance. Now, most of your non-denominational churches, everybody got to come and sit in one space. They don't have children's church. They don't have a youth department. They don't have Sunday school anymore. So that whole value is gone out the window. That village has left us. That village has left us, because at least the child began to learn something on that Sunday before they went to school that Monday. So let's real quick. I know we only got 5 minutes. It goes so fast, and we're going to have you back again, most definitely. You will come back. But you take the last few minutes and tell us, what could we do as a community now?
It's a trust thing.
What services and resources do you need now?
It's a trust thing. Even when it comes down to the church has broken a lot of trust because of some of the members and some of the things being publicized. So the church has to work hard to rebuild their own relationships with the community itself, because some people just view it as a money pot. Some people view it as a pot of sin and a whole lot going on, and they've taken things out of text when it comes to what's being taught in the Bible. So when the church makes it more welcoming for any and everybody to attend, to hear it, then more people will be inclined to attend and be a part and recreate these groups and these things for the children and everybody in the community. That's my personal opinion. My church is amazing. We still have children's church at my church. It's amazing. But at the same time, I do know there are some churches and some neighborhoods that don't, for whatever the reason is. It might be where mom's trauma started or dad's trauma started. So now my child's not going to go through that. And that's the parent, stepping into the parent role, protecting their children because of what happened to them. So the church, just like every other entity of the village, has to fix itself from within as well, and get on the same page of saving souls and not reputation and followers and all these grand scheme of things. My personal opinion. But as far as just keeping it level with children in school and families, communication is key. Teaching children to use their words is one of the best tools to teach a child, and letting them know however you feel, it's okay. It's what you do with that feeling that brings about a cause and effect. You can be upset today. Be upset. Take your moment. Breathe. Count. And now regroup and come back. Or what can we do to fix it? What you want? So when you talk to a child of any age, that teaches them to use their words more, even in those emotional states, to where typically they just act out and not know how to express themselves. So I don't know how to say this. I'm just going to show you. I'm going to break a window. I'm going to throw a chair. I'm going to kick. I'm going to scream. I'm going to cut myself. No, use your words. I'm sad today. I don't feel loved today because when you walked past me, you didn't hug me like you used to. Or when I put on my new dress, you didn't say I looked pretty. Those things matter. So as a family, just open up the floor of communication, no matter how heartbreaking it may be, because a child's truth hurts. I had to experience it myself not too long ago, and I had to check myself. I snapped, but I had to check myself because that was how my daughter felt, and that was how she perceived it, regardless of what I know I did and what I was doing. That was how it was received to her. So I had to respect that. So parents have to respect how their children feel and what their actions do to their children. Yes, you think that you're making the best decision for your family, and you are. However, your child is affected by every decision that you make. Whether they have any input or not, they're still affected. So allow them to express how they were affected, and that will build a relationship with you and your child to where they feel a little more comfortable coming to you in situations that were a little tougher before, or they felt like you weren't listening or you didn't care. So.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that. And we're going to have you back if you don't mind. We're going to have you back because we know you have so much more, and we're going to pick it up where we leave off. Where we're leaving off tonight. But that's our time, guys. It goes very fast. But please repost this, share. We're on 100 platforms, so you will find us under Talk 4 TV. And please because everybody needs to hear this. Closing thoughts. Just we're thankful for this opportunity, and we have to have more dialogue like this. And well, that's our time. We'll see you next week, same time, same station. Y'all be blessed. Take care.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye. Good night.